Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today I want to share something I'm incredibly passionate about. And if you agree with me here on this newly submitted suggestion that I just posted advocating for home kingdom leaderboards to be added after Season 1, because if you remember, current process is Season 1, you have your home kingdom leaderboards, but then once you get into the next seasons, essentially for the foreseeable future, you will only be able to view merged kingdom leaderboards, right? And I'll give you a quick example before we read through this. If we go in game, you could see that I'm here in the official Season 2, right, for the first kingdom. However, you can see that this account, if I click on it for myself, I can see the home kingdom or the current kingdom, right, that this account is from. However, if you see I'm in this merged kingdom with a bunch of other kingdoms, and I go to the leaderboard or servers, I know for a fact that not all of these players are from the same kingdom. And that is the challenge, is that we have no way to separate or to differentiate where players are from, but more specifically, being able to view a home kingdom so that way you can see for yourself, okay, like these are where those individuals are from, these are where the alliances are from, and there's a lot of other benefits for it that we'll be talking about here in a moment. So now let's go back to the suggestion. So this suggestion is essentially advocating for us to get home kingdom leaderboards. So you'll have the option to view a home kingdom leaderboard and the current KVK merged leaderboards, right? So you kind of get the best of both worlds, where you can do this for all of the seasons after Season 1. Because like we said, in Season 1, you're only able to see your home kingdom leaderboards. But once you get past that, it's merged KVK leaderboards. So some of the challenges is that it's impossible to tell which alliances or players belong to which home kingdom. There's no way to do that visually like we just showed you, because there's nothing on any profiles that you can see that indicates where a player is from, where an alliance's kingdom is being created from. The other challenge is that it's difficult to organize players or alliances from kingdoms for KVK. You have to think about this. If you don't have home kingdom leaderboards, and we're talking after Season 1, is that how would you know what alliances are from your kingdom if, let's say, they don't name themselves the same? How do you find players in game without relying on something like everyone joining a Discord or everyone joining a Facebook group? You have no way to do that. Why? Because there's no way for you to go and look on the map and then immediately have some type of indicator that says, oh, well, that person's from Kingdom 35, right? There's nothing in the game that does that. So those, and again, it's kind of slightly kind of two separate types of things that really kind of factor into this suggestion, but I totally could submit another suggestion for that, which we most likely will. The other thing is that you can't gauge true kingdom strength. There's no way to accurately go in and look at a kingdom and say, oh, well, that's how many active alliances that kingdom has, or this is that kingdom's top 200 power. Or this is, here's the 5 or top 10, whales or strongest players in that kingdom. Or here's how much fighting that kingdom does, right? Or here's what their top 200 kind of bubble spots are, right? There's no way to accurately gauge that because you don't have the ability to look at home kingdom leaderboards, right? You can only look at merged kingdom leaderboards. And if you're combining multiple kingdoms into merged kingdom leaderboards, well, it just dilutes the amount of players that much more when it comes to how many players from a specific kingdom are on those boards, right? It's just going to be a lot less. That'd be different if they extended the leaderboards to, let's say, the top 1,000, right? That would be a lot different in a merged kingdom which is probably better to do because you have multiple kingdoms. Suggestion for a later time. I'm spitballing. So next part is that it's hard to ally with kingdoms due to not knowing who is from there. So we're talking about future seasons, not Season 1, but beyond. So we're talking Season 2, Season 3. As you eventually get to more, you have to also think about it down the road. It's not just right now. It's about what can also factor in when you get to future seasons. It's going to get to a point where you've played 3, 4, 5 seasons and you've just lost count of what alliances are a part of your kingdom because you're just going from one merge KVK to the next merge KVK to the next merge KVK to the next merge KVK, i.e. future seasons. So it would be difficult for you to then go into a kingdom and say, okay, well, who do I contact here because I don't know who's from which kingdom, right? Like, think about that. If you're trying to ally with other kingdoms or ally with other alliances, you would basically have to do a public message, or you'd have to DM the people individually and ask them, hey, what home kingdom are you from? So again, it just makes the work that people have to do that much harder. And this is an incremental or important, we'll say, element of playing Kingdom Builders, is doing diplomacy and allying with either alliances, which again, I imagine the game would still love for us to do, even though, right, they're looking to kind of focus a little bit more on alliances rather than kingdoms, even though the community still will always prioritize kingdoms more so than alliances. Again, we've kind of shown that data off already. And then now let's talk about the benefits. And again, I want to point out that I'm only highlighting some of the challenges and some of the benefits, because I could go on for days if I really want to list out a lot of stuff. However, let's talk about the benefits. Some of the biggest ones is you're able to assess true strength. So assessing true strength is important because, like we talked about, if I can go into a home kingdom and it's not even just for myself. We're talking about for players that are going into KVKs, that are using the information the game provides you when it comes to KVK group data, where you're able to see which kingdoms you're getting paired with for future KVKs. Those players, as we've always seen in pretty much every kingdom builder, right, where you have organized bodies, you're going in and you're going to go then look at those kingdoms and you're going to compare their data versus your data. You'll compare their player power, alliance power, merits, right, etc. Because you're looking to try and gauge, okay, well, is this a kingdom we can ally with? Or are these alliances we can ally with? Or should we avoid? Should we maybe try and figure out a different starting position, right? Who are we going to be targeting when we're going out there and fighting them? These are things that you're going to collect, right, that are going to help you during war times and or just prep for future seasons. Then you're also, if we talk about gauging activity levels, right? So one of the other benefits is you can actually use a lot of home kingdom data to gauge activity levels of kingdoms outside of the migration status levels that they give you near the end of seasons, right? We're talking near the end of season 2 and beyond, right? Or season 2 and then future seasons. And so this is something that I think is really important if you're looking to try and make cases for things like hard merges of kingdoms that have lower activity. If you're trying to figure out how active your kingdom is, maybe on the amount of alliances you should be using going into KVK, if you need to condense shells as an example. Maybe you need to figure out activity levels for the main alliance or the secondary alliance. Maybe you can only use one. There's a lot of good reasons on why being able to gauge activity levels from home kingdom leaderboards can be a benefit to a lot of people within the kingdom. Then it also allows for you to actually know which alliances and players are from which home kingdoms, right? If you're able to look at home kingdom data, you can tell, okay, well, this player is from this kingdom, these alliances are from this kingdom. It makes it easier to just know where these people are from, and that you're also communicating and contacting or just discussing with people. If you're trying to have relevant kind of home kingdom or internal kingdom conversations, right, where you can know that these people are from your kingdom if you just look at home kingdom leaderboards. Now you don't have to necessarily rely on messaging a bunch of people to figure those things out, right, especially if you're already kind of in your merge KVKs. The next one, and to me is probably one of the most important ones, is that it gives players and alliances the potential to organize themselves for KVK, since they would know who's actually in their said kingdom. If I know that these alliances are there, now I can potentially organize, whether it's organizing just the players in one alliance, if it's organizing multiple alliances and those players, and trying to figure out what our game plan is. These are important things to kingdom builders because like we've seen with what the data suggests when we did a poll for 27 through 90, if you remember this going in to their Season 1 Plus, where we collected the data and it showed that the majority of these kingdoms were unified, or they believed that they were unified going in, right? Meaning that they weren't going as a solo alliance, they were going in as multiple alliances fighting as a kingdom. This is, again, how the data has pretty much always trended in kingdom builders, right, after a certain point in time. But it is something that the community will always vie for, right? You're not usually seeing kingdoms that are just saying, oh, we just want one alliance and that's it, and that's how we're always going to be, and everyone else can kick rocks. That typically is a minority when we're talking about game-wide data and how trends develop between the average kingdoms. Or for the average kingdoms. And then the very last one here, which is really just more of a personal, I had to add that in obviously for the serious lulls, but it is true. BN, myself, could offer more accurate top stat series data for specific fields and or certain boards. It's something that I would love to see in Home Kingdoms, and I think it would also allow for the community to be more well educated when it comes to how other kingdoms operate. One of the biggest things I really enjoy when I do the Top Stat series, along with showcasing data, is I like to view it from hopefully a good educational standpoint, where you as a player, someone from the community, is able to get a glimpse on how kingdoms outside of your own are operating, on how data or strength or statistics look outside of your home kingdom. And if anything, I hope that it at least broadens the perspective of, you know what, hey, this is really cool to see kind of how the game is as a whole and all these different kingdoms and how they operate in the game, and how kingdoms can still be successful even if they do things differently, who the top players are. Those are things to me that I've always wanted to know when I've played Kingdom Builders. And it's nice to see that there's a healthy response for a lot of players within the Call of Dragons community that want to know those as well. So for me, I just think it would allow for me to expand beyond what I'm already doing, but also educating people to where they'll enjoy to keep playing Call of Dragons, because they'll like being able to kind of get the daily dose of news or the daily dose of game-wide news on top of being able to see some really cool stats. So, in conclusion, adding Home Kingdom leaderboards allow for a level of transparency to those communities and the community at large in a healthy way across multiple fields of the game. So, this is something, like I said, that I really believe in, and if you believe in it as well, would love to have your vote. Again, I'll have a link to this specific suggestion in the pinned comment description down below. Would love to see as much support, again, for those of you that believe in adding this. And again, I don't necessarily believe that maybe everyone will. Maybe even after watching this video, you're like, oh, I just still don't get it. That's fine. Again, I think it's just important that we provide a specific level of detail. It's one of the reasons why, if you look at my suggestion, I format it the way I do. I try and be as detailed as I can, so that way you can really explain what the benefits are of adding certain things in a game. And then for me, being able to have the opportunity of a platform, I can explain these things as well in a video format, just to try and really give as much context to the suggestion as possible and why I think it is a phenomenal benefit for the game, not only now, but in the long run. That's going to do it for me. As always, would love to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below as well. That's going to do it. Until next time, I will catch you later.